Well, good morning on a Monday morning. Jerry and Cheryl here from CV6 Success Group. And every Monday, we like to do a little short Monday thoughts. And today, our thoughts are all about chasing shiny objects. Chasing shiny objects. And that's something that we probably all have been guilty of in our past. I know I have. I remember back some years ago when I was a very young man. I had just gotten married and I had a shiny object I wanted. And what it was a brand new boat. This was back in 1973. So at that point in time, I had a young family, had a couple kids. I was married to my first wife, and naturally, we didn't have a lot of excess money. So I got this real big idea that I wanted a ski boat, one of those with a walk-through windshield that was popular at that time. So in order to compute if I could afford this, I can remember well, the payments on that boat was $89 a month, Cheryl. And what I did was I looked at my last month's income and said, I can handle that $89 a month. But there was one thing that I forgot to look at. The previous month had contained 5 paydays, which doesn't happen every month. And this was one of the first times that I got in trouble from chasing a shiny object. And when I look around in my past, I got shiny objects all over the place, and we're guilty of this. We got things that we pay good money for that maybe we don't use. So, what's your thought on shiny objects this morning, Cheryl?
Well, I'm just going to qualify. You like shiny objects much better than I do. Um, we all do. I don't know of anybody out there that's not chased that shiny object at once. Right here's probably one of the biggest ones that people they go after the new phone. It's a shiny object, but that's not as much as people that go after lifts, forklifts, big products, and you don't really need them. You want them. So you start qualifying why you've got to have them. Kind of like you looked at your books. It's like, I can afford this. But you have to look at a bigger picture. Look at months worth. Look at the last year. Can you afford the shiny object? And honestly, do you need it?
Right. And what inspired this was yesterday morning, and I made a post on Facebook, and it was about, a lot of people think that adding more trucks is actually the best idea that there is. But at the same time, I posted, but is it better to make do with what you've got? And even further, so often we have so much waste going down the drain in a company. And our idea is we got to build more sales. We got to add a larger workforce. But Cheryl, there's so many times that I talk to people that they've added a workforce and they built a machine that is not what they wanted. And what they did, they got inspired by others. I can well remember times that you and I have sat in seminars. I will take it to the time that you and I sat in a Suzanne Evans seminar and how to sell from the stage. And in this, the whole concept was to get people excited. And Suzanne laid out the plan. She's one of the best there is of sell from the stage. And as we sat in that room in Atlanta, Georgia, she explained this process. And the next thing she did a sale from the stage and had her process. And we watched people that got excited and ran to the back of the room and plunked down their money without any forethought. Do you remember that?
I do. And she told them step by step what she was going to do and how it made people react, and that it was not an important thing. And I think she picked the least important thing she had to sell for the highest amount of money. And people ran there like it was unreal. They just flocked back there. It wasn't like one or two. The audience just levitated and went.
Right. And I see it too in people picking up products to sell in their retail operation. It's a shiny object and they get all excited and they plunk down, sometimes even going into debt with dating orders to bring in this shiny object. But what they forget to do is, how are we going to put it to use? Is it going to make us more sales, or is it simply going to replace the sales for something that we already have? And again, I'm going to put myself in that category. I've done it. We've all done it. But again, it is chasing shiny objects. And what you got to do is chase the items that are going to produce for you and give you the results that you're looking for. And it's great. It's like, as I'm looking you on the cam right now, I'm seeing two pictures on your background. You wanted those at a recent Renaissance festival. And let's face it, they're inspiring photos. They really look great. It's a decorating scheme, and you could afford those prints. It wasn't a matter that we went into debt to get you that artwork at that show. It was something that had a return for us and the pleasure of what you have. Am I correct?
It is. I mean, you know how many hours I stare into this camera a day doing hiring and stuff. And I kind of got tired of looking at something that I didn't enjoy looking at. And so when you suggested that we get some photos like these, you know that I've got others hanging in the house. You know, she's one of my favorite artists. And are they business? No, they're not business, but they keep me inspired, calm, focused when I'm talking on business, such as we're doing here. I mean, I can see them as good as you can right now. And it's something I like. Now, had we not been able to at this point, I would have said no and, took the repercussions of me telling you no. But we all look, and I want to clarify for people that really haven't grasped it. Yeah, these are shining, like shiny, sparkly. Don't take it that we're talking about just shiny, sparkly things like new cars and new trucks. It's expense. It's things that have an expense that you don't need to put the money into. Not that you can't later, but you don't need it now. You have other things that you actually need.
Right. And taking us back to that Renaissance festival you and I were walking through, do you know my biggest drawback to buying that art? Because we actually bought 4 or 5 that day. What do you remember? Do you know what my biggest drawback was of buying those?
Yeah, you complained all the way out about carrying them.
Right. I got to carry these things all the way back across that massive parking lot at the Renaissance Festival to get them to a car that I may not be able to locate in that parking lot, which it was a pain trying to figure out where I left my car at that day, because every time I would push my button, somebody else was pushing. So horns were going off all over the parking lot with other people that couldn't find their cars.
Hey, now let's tell them the truth. You left me standing at the gate with the photos. You didn't carry them all over the parking lot.
That's correct. I made proper planning. It's like, I'm not going to carry these all the way back. You stand right here. I'll come back and get you at the entrance when I find the car. But anyway, that's our thought process for the day, which is, don't chase shiny objects. Look at what is going to produce for you. It's not necessarily getting larger. It's not necessarily getting the hat be bigger. It's all about what is the dreams you have. So sit down. How can you make more with what you have? That's a thought process for you to think about today. Sheryl, anything else you want to add before we check out of today's Monday Minute Thought?
I mean, take a day to think about it. Why do people like you to buy on the spot? Because you haven't had time to think about it. Take a step back and think.
Yep. So with that, we'll see you later. Tune us in later this week on both the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, where we got a special guest going to give a really great presentation this week. And also look for the Fireplace Show that'll also be coming out later this week live. And if you're in the chimney and fireplace industry, remember, the Fireplace Show is a really great process for you to share on your social media. If you need any help in this, just let us know. Or if we can help you reach your business dreams, you're seeing our email addresses on the screen right now. Let's have a conversation. And with that, we'll talk to you later. Have a great week and stay on your course to success.